minutes to master, tools to explore. Let your imagination soar like never before. AI Tool Time with Rick McCarley, where your digital dreams come true.
Ignition. Literally sit there and copy it and then put it in the world's largest library, Alexandria. That's it is. So Alexander the Great created this library where he basically stole and copied everything and put it into the library, which is ironic because what I'm going to show you is how to use Google NotebookLM as this new library creation tool for educators. So all of this, and your job is to be the curator of knowledge. All right. Welcome to Tool Time. My name is Rick McCauley. Today, we're going to talk about Google NotebookLM. Yes, it's probably the most powerful tool that educators can use out there today. And what it is, you can find it. It's part of the Google library of tools. So if you pay $20 a month, or as an educator, spend $10 a month, you can get access to not only Gemini, you can get access to 5 terabytes of space on your Google Drive. You can get access to Nano Banana, which we've talked about before. But today I'm going to do a super deep dive into probably one of the most amazing features you can do, and that is Google Notebook LM. To give you an idea, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I built this library, just like the Library of Alexandria, where it's the collection of all knowledge ever known to man. And I'm going to show you how I constructed this one. At the end of this, you're going to be able to go in here and take a look at a mind map, which takes a look at copyright law. Here's precedent-setting copyright law. And then each one of these things is basically loaded information. And I'll show you how I got here. In fact, if you want to know about Getty Images and Midjourney, you can click right there and it tells you all the stuff that happened and when it happened. How the heck does it do that? Well, this is based upon the sources that you put in. So the way Google Notebook works, it's like building a library. And you've got 3 components. So let's start here on the left. You start with a source and you can add them in. So here's one. This is a video that I took a look at. Take a look at this. So all I did is went over to YouTube, and this is how I recommend you do it. Find a topic you're interested on. It could be copyright. It could be doing a children's book. It could be doing what are the best tips for Nana Banana, or it could be doing a recipe book that you're doing. So what you do is you go out and collect sources, just like those folks at the Alexandria did. And when you go to YouTube in particular, what it does is it transcribes the entire video. So right here, I have all of it. And here's a source guide. This is a summary of what it's talking about. All right, what kind of sources can I bring in here? When you go to add, take a look at this. First, in the top middle section, you can drop any PDF, any text document, any markdown language, and MP3s. Coming soon is video raw, okay? Then you have Google Drive. So I've got mine connected to my Google Drive. Here is some of my stuff on my rocket ship thing. So I could come in here and I could say, oh, I want to grab this story about Napster moment, blah, blah, blah. So any information I have on my terabytes of Google Drive, and you can see what I'm working on. In fact, here's the copyright PDF that I just made. Let's insert this, and I'm going to bring that in as a resource. Take a look at what it does. It's going to ingest that and bring it right into the camp here, right? So now that's part of my grounded information. Also, it can add, as we saw below, Google Drive and then links to a website or a YouTube video. Now you'll see across the bottom, for my $20, what do I get? I get 300 sources. That means 300 YouTube videos, 300 websites, 300 entries. And they can be the size of 20 megabytes each. Or if it's scraping an entire website, you just copy and paste the URL there. So I can come in here and I've got already loaded up. This is a whole episode about copyright law that goes over the writer's strike and all this kind of stuff. So all I do is just come over here, hit share, copy. And then when I come back over to my notebook, I simply tap on YouTube, paste in the URL, and then now insert. And I can watch it ingest this information in real time. And then I can go down here. Here it is. And let me watch it, because once it's done spinning through that, let's see where, I think this is the one here. Oh, here's a different one. So this is another video. It's got the entire transcripts. All right, so that's kind of cool. So that's input. Now, here's a really super cool thing. So I want to do this presentation because I want to create a 16-week class. So not only do I need to know what AI and copyright is going on right now, but I need to be able to create a quiz. I need to create a PowerPoint and a 16-week class, flashcards, mind maps, audio overviews, video overviews. Yeah, let me not get ahead of myself, but I want to do one more thing, and that is I want to discover what I want to discover. So I can say what I want to discover, and then it's going to search. Find me all the case law and precedent setting in the copyright field with artificial intelligence as the subject matter. Make sure that it's official, whether it's an open case or a closed case. Looking for historical documentation doing with copyright law that may have effect on current AI and copyright law itself. Okay, so now it's going to go out there and search for just that. So that means every website, every lawsuit, anything that's on the internet, it's going to suck in. If it's grounded truth, so since I specifically asked for case law that is, so here's federal court cases, here's generative, here's the summary PDF. One thing so I'll just import all of those, and guess what? I'm not even coming close. So that's it ingesting all that knowledge. So that Alexandria library that we talked about earlier, sometimes you'll find ones that are behind paywalls and they'll come up with a red thing. I just remove those. I don't need to get something that, needs to be paid for, and I don't want to do anything illegal. So, but you can tell it what you want to base it upon. In fact, I just thought what would be kind of cool is the top news stories. So I'm going to come back up here again. I want to discover, and I'm going to be ingesting. Again, I'm looking for all the knowledge that's out there. Bring me the top 5 news stories and detailed information from trusted news sources like Associated Press, New York Times, or other outlets about AI cases that are currently the most contentious and the highly publicized ones there are. Any magazine or any source that's free for access and knowledge gain would be spectacular. Thank you. Okay, so now it's going to go out and look for those sources. If it's behind a paywall, it's not going to go there, but you get the idea. I could, if I subscribe to New York Times, download as a PDF and then load it up in my Discovery tab. Okay, here we go. And there's Forbes magazine, there's The Guardian, there's et cetera, et cetera. And you can look at each one of these. So what I'm doing is I'm really doing some cool stuff as an educator. I am collecting and curating knowledge that I know to be fact-based. And here's a scholar, law.gwu. Not quite sure. Sometimes I'm not sure why it doesn't get through, but you can keep going. All right, so that's kind of cool. So let's come up with a question that we might want to ask of this information. I'm creating a 16-week course, and I want you to give me an outline and an overview. What would be the name of this course if I want them to as a legal department? So this will be taught by a law professor. It will also be taught by an ethicist and a philosopher, and it will also be taught by an AI expert who's up on all these laws. These 3 different people will create this multidisciplinary class. Give me an overview of what this class might need to include, what are the talking points, and give me 3 sort of expertise perspectives that these 3 professors might bring to the table to framework this class. Using the data here, let's make a class and give an outline that I can present to the professor to convince them to teach this wonderful class. Give me a course number, as this would be a graduate level class in a multidisciplinary degree program. Okay, so it's taking the grounded information. This is Gemini now going to work. And so there's my question. And I could actually create an audio overview about just this question alone and have it tell me what it suggests doing. How cool is that? Create a mind map all of a sudden. But in just a few seconds, it's taking all of this information, which is now, I don't know, maybe just only 60 or 70 references, perhaps, and it's going to give me an answer. While that's kind of cooking in the wings, I can come over here and take a look at any actions that are where I've already done this. So I've got down here some other outputs. It normally doesn't take this long, so I'll probably edit this part out, but it's using 59 sources. That's what I have. I have 59 sources, and I just asked this question, and it's in the process of answering it. Oh, here we go. And here's the outline for the course. And how wonderful is this? Look at this. Okay, let me go zoom in. A graduate level seminar, multidisciplinary examination, and then take a look at this, right? So there's the class. It even gives you a cross-listed in the different departments. The algorithmic author, law, ethics, and creativity in the age of AI. Guess what it has here? The citations from where the information came from, right? Graduate level seminar provides multidisciplinary explanation of the profound legal and ethical and society changes proposed by generative artificial intelligence. As AI models like ChatGPT, Midjourney, and Sora demonstrate unprecedented capabilities in creating text, images, and video, they have triggered an existential crisis for creators and have upended traditional frameworks of intellectual property. That's the topic for tonight's show, copyright and intellectual property. This course will explore the pivotal moments we are in, where we court dockets are backlogged with lawsuits pitting creators against technology giants, and the very definition of authorship, creativity, and infringement are being contested. Holy cow, is that perfect or what? So then I go jump to the bottom, and this is how I do it. Click copy, go over to my Microsoft Word document, which is always ready, create a new document. I paste it. Oops. Oh, that's an old document I had on screen. Oh, that's not the right one. Hold on. Let me try that again. I copy the information and I come over to create a new document. There we go. Okay, so there's my document, and I'm going to auto save it to the OneDrive. If I have Google Notes up on Skage, then I'll have that here as well. Then I'll save it as a PDF, and I'll come back and do that later. But also I can save this note and pin it over here. So this becomes a permanent entry, and if I like it, fantastic. Now I can go further, and it actually tells me what I'm going to be doing on each week, how we're going to divide up the roles of these three professors so it makes sense, right? And because it's got grounded information, and I could vet that even more carefully, so I would have all of us bringing to this table in a group thing, which you can share this, by the way, all this information. So this can be a collaborative experience. So I literally would say, hey, you guys want to teach this class? Then I would say, bring them in here. Here's what I have so far. All right. So now I'm going to have it create a mind map. I'm going to have it create a quiz. I'm going to have it create some reports. What reports do I want it to create? A blog post? Yes, why not? And it's actually generating these things as we go. And to show you what this looks like, I'm going to do a new audio overview. Now, audio overview is going to be a voice where you can kind of set. So I'm going to come in here. Now, audio overview is two people talking to each other. You can pick short, longer. On the deep dive, it's a lively conversation between two hosts in whatever language you want. Here are the ones currently supported, and there's quite a few. They just added these recently. Look at this, Filipino. Wow. I don't even know what some of these languages are. Okay, that's cool. Then I could do a brief, bite-sized kind of thing, a critique, or a debate. So I'm going to put debate, and it sets to default. Then I'm going to say here, custom instructions. I'm teaching a class in multidisciplinary education. We have an AI ethicist, an AI expert, and we have also a philosopher and a journalism professor. They're going to be teaching this class. So I'd like to cover both the philosophy, the ethics, and the practical journalistic nature of how we protect it. Also an artist, I'm sorry. We're going to have a professor who's an art professor worried about the future of meaning. So use all those perspectives and give me a debate between an artist-centric view of the AI world, who is against AI scraping their work, and the large language companies that are practically trying to make advances to change the world for the better, using all things the way that an artist would look at artwork and build upon that. Okay, I did a very poor job of that, but the idea is this conversation is going to be an audio overview that is based upon my request for what I wanted to do. The video overview is the same sort of thing. And instead of doing that right now, what I'm going to do is bring up, here is the notes that we did on one. It's now generating an audio overview, and it's generating a quiz. I can even come down here and make different reports that you just saw. And so it's generating that, and then flashcards. So flashcards, and I'm going to come down here and show you what that looks like at the end. So the copyright flashcards I did 20 hours ago are this. What are the 4 non-exclusive statutory factors of fair use defense in the United States copyright law? Well, I can see the answer. There we go. And I can have it explained. And this will actually put together right here in this center console an explanation of this particular question. So for students, they can sit here and go true, false. In the context of fair use, a party must prevail on all 4 factors to win a fair use determination, true or false. Take a look at what we've got here. In a matter of minutes, I've created a master's level course in this information. And when I go on down and take a look at some of the other reports that I created earlier, here's the one about copyright law. And when you were looking at this before, you thought, okay, that's kind of cool. But what is the proposed change in regulation? Now, here's the really super cool thing you can do. If you click on this right now, so No Fakes Act, that's before Congress right now, okay? And writer strikes right in 2023. So this information's already been ingested. If I click on this, watch what just happened. In this center console, it's answering all the questions about that. It's summarizing, discuss the sources say about proposed registration, regulatory changes in a larger context of AI and copyright law. Holy cow. Stop the presses. And I'm doing this all at once, and it's multitasking. Yes, it can multitask. Human beings, not so much. And then here we go. So here is the core thing. Then I can take that information, again, jumping to the bottom, copying that note. Ooh, it's still going. And I know where it came from. So even if I'm critical, and you should be a critical thinker, and maybe I got more information. So here's federal and state regulations. Here's the source information. It's all there. And then when I copy and paste this, and it's still going. I mean, it's still going. Remember, this is Gemini. So literally you could load up all the Harry Potter books, all the Lord of the Rings books into one NotebookLM and then query it. Imagine every major philosopher of all time copied and pasted in. Then you go over and then you go into your notes that you're doing. And then I recommend using a Google Drive to put all these into, but there you go. Here's the generative AI copyright disclosure, transparency law, preventing deep fake legislation. So if you even just wanted to know for a newscast, what about the No Deep Fakes Act? And then guess what happens? I didn't do it here, but at the bottom, it would tell you all the links to where the source information came from. Holy cow, blow my mind. All right, so now we haven't listened to one of these, and this is my favorite part. First, we'll listen to flashcards. Oh, here we go. Let's watch this. Oops. Sorry about that. Let me try to grab it one more time. Okay.
Today, we're jumping right into a massive fight that's brewing at the intersection of technology and creativity. We're talking about a battle where lines of computer code are going up against centuries of law, and it could completely change what it means to be an artist or a writer in the 21st century. So let's just start with this number, $1.5 billion. What does that number even mean? Is it the price tag for some new AI supercomputer? A tech company's valuation? Nope, it's actually the dollar amount at the very center of the fight we're talking about today. That massive number? It's from a proposed settlement in a lawsuit against the AI company Anthropic. And that quote from the author's lawyer really puts it into perspective. This isn't some theoretical debate anymore. We are talking about real billion-dollar consequences. And honestly, this one case is the perfect way to understand this entire war over AI and copyright. So let's break it down. Okay, so here are the players. You've got the AI company Anthropic on one side and a whole group of authors and publishers on the other. And the allegation is just wild, that Anthropic knew it was downloading millions of books from pirate sites to train its AI. The proposed payout wasn't small change either. We're talking about roughly $3,000 for every single one of an estimated 500,000 books. That's a historic number. But, and this is a huge but, just when everyone thought it was a done deal, a federal judge basically hit the brakes. The judge started questioning whether the deal was even fair, which just goes to show you how messy and uncertain this whole legal area is. Absolutely nothing is set in stone. Now, to really get why this is all so complicated, we have to take a quick step back and look at the basics.
Okay, I'm going to stop there because this goes on for 7 minutes, and every
you
slide
and
is
only
absolutely on
it's
point,
that act of
and it's
copying that
based
has
upon this real information. Now, what I will tell you about this is the Anthropic has now been settled. Well, actually, December will be finally. But what it did illegal was not to scrape all the information on the internet. That's actually cool. It's called transformative. That's what the current legal law states as the wall that you can't pass. However, when you scrape it, you can't keep it. So it actually went to a pirate website and grabbed 500,000 books. Okay. If you stole it, that's a crime. Okay. And if you kept it, that's proof you stole it. And so right now they're doing some research to find out if they actually still have it, if this was a mistake. And they've decided to give $3,000 per entry. So yeah, it's almost, for most companies, that would be an existential end to your company. So that's the inside the baseball. And we'll talk about this on tonight's show. But what's spectacular about this, and what I'm going to do, is I take this audio overview, I take the statistics that are here, and I'm going to juice up the visuals just a little bit, like I'm doing with this PowerPoint presentation that you'll see in a second. But what's so extraordinary about this is, think about this. Every one of your students has these kind of flash decks. And I could say, give me just a video overview that just talks about philosophy and ethics. Give me a perspective from just journalism. And then it's generating these different ones. So each time I ask a different question, when I hit this pencil, I'm saying, I want to have it look from this perspective. It's spectacular. The way that we teach is changing fundamentally. So I've actually had it create the 16-week course. And then I did one on another topic. So to kind of land the plane here, you've got input of all the sources in the planet that you can actually have it act as a research agent. That's the big thing. And the type of sources can be any kind of source there is in existence. So that's spectacular. So let me take a look at this one I did for hotel tech. So I did research. I don't know anything about hotel trends and AI and hospitality, but I was able to create AI-powered hotel. What does that have to do? When I did my presentation, it was based on this data. Oh my God, thousands of hours it would have taken to take 43 sources of information from robots in hotels. So here's robotics in hotels, right? And so I can actually take a look at, this is actually the YouTube video that it found for me. And then it summarized that. And then it creates this. And then I go off and I download this and I use it to create other products. So I'll show you just a little bit of what I'm doing in PowerPoint, and we're going to wrap it up here. But so I said, I want to present to everybody the understanding of what the metaphor is for this Google Notebook. Imagine that you're one of the people who's curating all of this knowledge as the information comes in from the Nile and great philosophers, Egyptian thinkers, etc., and it comes through Alexandria on its way to rest of Europe, etc. you had to copy it, and then they created the world's largest library, which, to give you a sense of scale, still was only about the size of your local public library, to give you that idea. Now you're in a world where all knowledge has already been put on the internet. It got scraped and it's at your fingertips, and you ingest it into Google NotebookLM. So who are you as an educator? You're the curator of knowledge at the world's largest library. You're the librarian of the Alexandrian library. The ancient library was the center of all scholarship, where librarians curated the world's knowledge. The modern curator, Google NotebookLM. That's it. And then you get to tailor it to your needs. I was teaching a photography class. What do? I ingest all of the best YouTube videos about how to do photography. So the exposure triangle, which I've taught for 30 years, I can stop teaching that and let ChatGPT build the most beautiful visual video library of explainer videos ever built on Earth, and take all my knowledge and put on top, and then curate it and form it and sculpt it to the way I want. How did I create what you're looking at right now? I asked ChatGPT, I was doing the speech, give me a metaphor with the librarian of Alexandria and what Google NotebookLM is. I fed that script into ChatGPT. I said, give me a slide deck, PowerPoint presentation, give me a description of each image that would go along with this combination of comparing Alexandria to the modern Google NotebookLM in use. And then it generated a script that I went over to Manus. You could do this in Lovable or any capable engine that can generate images. So the images were all generated within an hour, and this is what I got. Now I'd go back and I'll edit this, and I've got it trained on my style, which is headlines that are golden color, white text, large copy, and then image style that I've generated over time. And then so you've got from Discovery tab, expand your collection. So we're discovering stuff and we're asking for it to do it, right? This is actually a pretty cool metaphor. And then the scrolls to case law. So I want to bring in case law. And I would probably tweak this because I didn't, and then we have debate, right? So we have debate not only by the speakers, but then I tell my students, we're going to have a real debate over what you would do and how would you. So this would be the law professor is going to have actual students of philosophy and art take both sides. Imagine you're debating your students and you pitted an artist who's anti-AI with a very proactive AI business person in the class. Or you put the two teams together and you let them pick which side they want to debate. And then you ask them to debate the opposite side. You give them the corpus of data and they have to make a convincing argument. Perhaps you could even have your students practice by loading up your GPT with the knowledge base and then say, based upon this knowledge base, act as my opponent. You take this side, I'll take the other. And then you flip the sides and it fine tunes your debate. You are agentically in control of your learning journey. This is the hero's journey that every educator who's worth their salt wants for every student. This is how you get there, right? It's the curation, it's the iteration, it's having your students go through this valuable, grounded truth. So you're the curator to make sure there's no junk stuff in that trunk, right? You want to make sure that they don't have fake information in there. It's got to be the real law of the time. You've got to verify it. So you need to go through the citations and make sure that this is curated information. What I do, go to ChatGPT, give me the top 10 videos about copyright law, then go over to Gemini, have it check, make sure that's right. Is that the best? If they're wrong, if the link is wrong, fix it. Then I copy and paste those 10 in, and then I go searching for more. So educator's query is we're then asking questions of this. How else might I frame this up? What do I do with an audio overview and a library that speaks to me? I could have a conversation with the scrolls themselves. I can have flashcards if I want to memorize what is case law and how does this affect it? What is the philosophical points of view that we might be able to look at both sides? What do we do? How do we do a reaction paper? What world do you want to live in? Where that AI supersedes you in the capabilities of making videos autonomously? What laws might we pass to stop that from happening? To me, it's the Chinese law, the Chinese wall, excuse me. I want to put between us and the AI a wall so big and thick that says, this is human. Only we are creators. Only we have embodied experiences. The words I use for this is, we know the first kiss and the last goodbye. You never will, and we'll never let you. Because that means we put the blood, sweat, and tears into life. We are the storytellers. We are the ones that craft those stories into movies, into films. You can act as an agent to make sure that the costume design, as if I'm Steven Spielberg, is correct. But I am Steven Spielberg. I decide what you shoot, when you shoot it, what direction you do. I am the director of the AI, and that's the world we want to live in. So we're building a course. We're designing an educational experience, and then we're letting them go through that, and we're basing it upon they become librarians. The next thing is let them learn how to do this, learn how to take their curiosity, their creativity, and find new ways to do this. What's their next? What's your next? And what do you want as an educator? To plan and help them understand what their future as students and human beings is going to be, to help find their purpose in life, their ikigai. That's what this is. It's knowledge transference from all knowledge of humankind to design a future and an educational path that your students can drive on their own to their future of knowledge, understanding, and changing the world for the better. Every day, they get to become a better version of themselves. And you are Gandalf, knowing that trusting Frodo with the journey to save all mankind is your most noble pursuit. So it's time to step up and use this tool the profoundly beautiful way I've just demonstrated here and make a difference in the world. Prepare for your students' future, not for your past. We can't teach rote method memorization because all that stuff is already there. But we can be curators, librarians, ethicists, philosophers, thinkers, and we can make them the same. Critical, creative thinkers. And then I'll add this. The most important things for the future of all education: creativity, curiosity, critical thinking, and then social and emotional intelligence. And then finally, consensus building. Because without all of those factors, we as human beings are really nothing more than an AI bot controlled by them. With that, we are Steven Spielberg, crafting the future of the planet through the lens of our students' journey that we have but sent them on, and we put impediments in the way, not to break them, but to make them have friction so they earn it and they have an emotional experience of winning that debate against the ChatGPT, and that another ChatGPT on somebody else's phone has checked it and said, yes, I think Rick made the most amazing argument. And that person goes on to form policy informed by all the knowledge that we have. Imagine a world where that's how we live. That's Google Notebook, and I'm Rick McCauley, a dangerous man, an educator, and a human being. Thank you for watching. Now go forward and make this change happen in the world. Looking forward to it.